Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to another episode of the Warzone. I want to tell you thank you for taking the time out to tune in because without you guys, I would not have a show. And it's very important for me to remind you that you're a big reason why I show up every night. I know I've been on my rant for the last 2 weeks in regards to the Houston Independent School District, and I'm not going to stop. See, when I got time on my hands, which I normally do because I work for myself, um, and when I'm feeling great, I do a lot of research and I make a lot of phone calls and I tie a lot of, things together and I connect a lot of dots. So I really wanted to dig deep into this superintendent because I've learned in the game that you take marching orders from somebody. I don't care what position you in. You taking marching orders from somebody. So what I want to do, first of all, I want to remind the people this Thursday, January 12th, 4:30 p.m., we will have a press conference in front of the school board building, which is at 4400 West 18th Street, Houston, Texas, 77092. And the board meeting starts at 5. We need as many parents as we can get from all over the city to show up. Your schools are under attack. Just because you don't see your school on that list in front of you, that doesn't mean anything. That means I just didn't have a lot of space. But I couldn't put 270 something schools on there. But I know for a fact that Black education is under attack. And Thursday night in the boardroom, we need to make this dude smell our cologne. And what I mean by that is they don't want to engage the African American or the Latino community. They don't feel like they have to tell us nothing when it pertains to anything dealing with our children. Well, we got something to say about that. So Thursday, 4:30 p.m. in front of the school board office, 4400 West 18th Street, Houston, Texas, 77092. And 5 o'clock, the board meeting starts. My man, Roland Martin, is going to show up and he's going to give us national news coverage on this thing because the decimation of black education is not going to happen. I want to send a message to HISD. I know you like to divide and conquer, but let's get something straight, big homie. You about to make some mistakes, and I'm not going to correct my enemy making no mistakes. So go do what you need to do the rest of this week. Make the mistakes. It's going to cost you a lot of money. That's all I'm going to tell you. That's all I'm going to tell you. But I also want to let folks know in every single community, Black, white, Latino, they like to go in and they like to talk to certain people. When they talk to those certain people, they're going to take the conversation, they're going to twist it. They're going to act like you're down with what they're doing. And this is what they've tried in the Yates community in the last few days. They've tried to say, well, the Yates community is supporting us. We ain't supporting shit. And anybody that's rocking with HISD gonna feel the wrath of these Yates lines. So what we gonna do is we gonna learn how to stay in our lanes. What you're not gonna do is attack our school. You're not attacking any of these schools anymore. Sam, keep fighting. Sam, it's time for you to show up, man. You the big bad advocate on the north, I'm the big bad advocate on the south. We got to do more than post on social media, young man. It's time to go to war, or I will overstep my boundaries and do what I need to do. Do not allow these people to play sucker games with you and act like you down with them. So I'm not even talking to them. I don't want to talk to them. And they ain't got to talk to me. My good friend Darius Primetime Austin, he was in the meeting this past weekend. Sam was in the meeting. You had representation. You had former principals. I just got a PhD on the team today. You want to go to war? We finna take you to war. You want to go to war? But let me tell you something about this war that I figured out over the weekend. Mr. Superintendent, you're running the same playbook. You, Denise Watts, Peter Gorman are running the same playbook. Oh, man, I kind of figured out some things. Hold on a second, you guys. Let me go in here and check something. I want to check something. So before we get into it, let me double check. Okay. So let me double check. Okay. So before we get into it, let me stop that screen. We're going to close that one. And I want to put up this next screen. And I want to say this, and I need this Negro, Millard House, to hear me. So let's go in. Let's right here. All right, you can see this. He's going to be the Leadership Summit speaker for the Texas High School Coaches Association. Negro, please. Why is this dude speaking on athletics to the people that run athletics, you know, one of these founding groups in the state of Texas, Texas High School Coaches Association? Why is he speaking when you got us down here practicing on a goddamn parking lot for a playoff football game? Why is this dude speaking in regards to athletics when he's done nothing for athletics since he's been in the HISD for 18 months? They're our kids, dude. And I want you to clearly understand me, Negro. When you get to Fort Worth, I'll be there waiting on you. You got the audacity to go speak in front of all these coaches when you ain't did nothing for HISD athletics? How many teams don't have what they need? How many girls' sports teams ain't got what they need? And you go and speak on athletics? Say, man, I'll be there waiting on you, big homie. If y'all don't know what this is, let me blow it up for you so you can clearly understand it. That's as big as I can get it. That's the Yates football team practicing on a parking lot that got lights because the field don't have none. Everything you wanted at administration building since you got there, you've got it. Yates don't have no lights. Worthing don't have no lights. Booker T ain't got no lights on their field. But you going to talk to these people? Are you serious? You going and lecture these people on what? What are you going to lecture them on? Texas High School Coaches Association? For real? Man, you got to be crazy, dude. So now I want to get into this thing. I want to get a screen up for you. While I'm on Millard, I want to go in and I want to play something for you. You are the company that you keep. You are the company that you keep. You have gone to the affluent white communities to try to run game on them. They figured out you was full of it. You scheduled meetings with a lot of people, but in the black schools where we really need the most help and the most support, you won't come down there. So let's play this here. You guys tell me what you think, and I'll explain it to you once we get through.
Of defrauding the Department of Education. Now some people want to know why he is on a Texas education agency list of approved providers.
KPRC2 investigator Joel Eisenbaum live tonight to explain how this could have happened. Joel.
Keith, the man we're talking about, James Dunn Jr., was sentenced to almost 3 years in federal prison for submitting $300,000 in fraudulent claims. Dunn said he was teaching disabled people, but the federal government says he took the money and wasn't doing the teaching. And Dunn is right now still in the education industry.
On the Texas Education Agency's website, there's a list of names, people, and companies qualified, says the TEA, to teach others how to be good school board members. One of those names, James Dunn, is a problem for some people.
The reason I think it's so important is, remember, these are our board of trustees because we are entrusting them to follow the law.
But the person teaching those school board members, including how to follow Texas education laws, in 2009 was himself convicted of defrauding the U.S. Department of Education. James Earl Dunn Jr. was sentenced to 33 months in prison. Quote, Dunn knowingly and willfully abused his position of trust to steal funds that were supposed to be used to provide needed education and vocational rehabilitation to disabled adults. That's what the acting inspector general for the Department of Education said.
Well, from what I can see on the TEA website, there really doesn't seem to be any type of qualifications required of the people.
She's right. We went through the application process. Requirements are thin. Just upload a resume. There is no background check to get the state's blessing to teach school board members how to do their jobs, period. State law makes no provision for it. Maybe that's why TEA's commissioner, Mike Morath, is seen here attending one of Dunn's workshops with HISD school board member Dr. Kendall Baker in mid-October.
Dr. Dunn has not responded to our messages or phone calls. Both HISD and Conroe ISD tell us they have not paid for any board members to attend Dunn's events. We're live in the newsroom. I'm Joel Eisenbaum, KPRC 2 News.
Wow. So,
and now to a story you'll see only on
Hold
2.
on
A 12-year-old girl spent her New Year's in the hospital after being.
There we go. All right. So I brought that up to bring this up. That why would the superintendent, they just said they ain't never paid no money to James Dunn. Not only has he been convicted and going to jail for 33 months, but he also just had a summary judgment put against him in civil court for defrauding the church. He owes them $21,000. He got over $300,000 in PPP loans, never paid the people back. So the thing is Mr. Superintendent, why you meeting with this man? They just said he ain't made no money off HISD. That ain't what I asked. Mr. Superintendent, why you meeting with this man? Mr. Monroe, do you understand what you're doing? I said he meeting with him. And I know he's going to say that it never happened. Well, hold on. Let me share a screen. Let me get it up in here. Okay, let's double check something. And let's go here. So what I want to do is I want to tell you something, Mr. Superintendent. Why are you meeting with this man? And if you know this has happened with him, why would you be meeting with him? Well, Mr. Monroe, you making a claim you can get sued for defamation. No, I can't. Mr. Superintendent, I got your personal calendar. I got your personal calendar. Would you like for me to post it? Let's put it up for you. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let's post it. Hold on a second. Let me go up in here. Okay. Let me open it up. There we go. So, Mr. Superintendent, is this your personal calendar? Let me make it bigger for y'all. Let me show you. Oh, by the way, Mr. Superintendent, I'm deep in your business. This is your personal calendar. And I want you to go all the way down. Let's pull a screen up for you. See down there where I got it circled? Participated in a Teams meeting with Dr. James Dunn on 12/16. If this man have been to jail for defrauding the Department of Education, why are you meeting with him? Okay, well, we haven't given him any money. Yes, you did. Who we doing personal development with? Not just the board. Mr. Superintendent, you want me to bust your ass right now? Oh, I got to use some cuss words tonight. I got to use some cuss words. Why is this man meeting with somebody that went to jail for 33 months for defrauding the Department of Education? And then you tell the media that you've never paid him. But I know for a fact, because I need you to see me, he's been doing personal development in the district. So who paid him in your school district? If I'm going to meet with Pablo Escobar, what you think it's for? If I'm going to meet with the Cali cartel, what you think it's for? Why are you meeting with a convicted felon? He didn't defraud the bank. He didn't defraud the hospital. He didn't defraud the restaurants. He defrauded the Department of Education. So what you meeting with him for? Let's go back. This is your calendar, dude. I got your whole calendar. And you meeting with some interesting people on there. You attended the National Mathematics Improvement Project in New York. What the fuck for? When you got kids down here that can't do basic mathematics. You and your people so full of it, attended a one-on-one with special assistant to the superintendent. Who is that? Attended a group one automotive teacher of the month at Kelso, met with the deputy superintendent, special assistants to discuss board workshops, participated in the TEA commissioner's superintendent's call, met with the president of Good Reason Houston, who wants to privatize our schools. Mr. Superintendent, I got a bone to pick. Let me lace you to it, big homie. This is how it works. I know everything you doing. And ask yourself one question. If I got your personal calendar, somebody high up that love me, and they don't like you, clown. So can you explain to the HISD community why you're meeting with a convicted felon that has defrauded the Department of Education? And you said that he's never trained the board, but isn't it true that he's doing personal development for your principals and assistant principals? And if he's doing that, who's paying him? And now I have bigger issues because certain board members ain't supposed to vote on these contracts. They're tied to this man. So my question is you got all the time in the world to meet with Good Reasons Houston. You got all the time in the world to meet with convicted felons that have defrauded the Department of Education. But you ain't got time to meet with the parents in the community that support education in the Black community. Just tells us who he is, bro. This dude is a clown, man. So what I want to do now, when I think about it, I had to kind of figure out who the players were. Who were the players? Who were the players? I want to introduce y'all to somebody. Let's go in here. Let's stop this screen. Let's stop this screen. Let's open another screen. And let's go in right here. Share. He look familiar, Mr. Superintendent? Yeah, I know he look familiar, Mr. Superintendent. That's your guy, ain't it? That's Dr. Peter Gorman, President, Chief Executive Officer of the Peter Gorman Leadership, LLC. And he's been recognized nationally as an education leader and for developing outstanding leadership teams with more than 30 years of experience in education and business. He provides executive support, organizational development for superintendents, senior leadership teams, and school boards across America. He also assists philanthropic organizations and education companies. Ain't that your guy, Peter Gorman, Mr. Superintendent? Well, I know. Well, you know, that's you say that's one of your mentors. But what's the connection with Peter Gorman and this superintendent we got? Well, what we're gonna have to do, we're gonna have to open up another screen. Okay, let's share the screen. Let's see. Because this man is coming here and he's making tons of money. He's making tons of money. I want to go over here to this screen. This is the, let me make sure I got it up. There we go. The Innovation Project. What the hell is the Innovation Project? The Innovation Project is the brainchild of our chief academic officers. Let's go in and let's pull it up. Let's go in, let's pull it up. Let me see. About, tip, our mission. Who are we? Okay, let's go here. Who are we? Let's go in here. Hold on a second. I'm trying to find it. We do our partners. Bear with me for a second. Let's bear with me. I'm trying to find it. I had a lot of screens I had to open. So, who is Peter Gorman? Well, if y'all don't know this lady, she works in HISD right now. Dr. S. Denise Watts is an educational professional and practitioner with experience as a leader in schools and district level. She has a track record of significantly improving the quality of education for school-age children, especially those in traditionally underserved communities. I'm going to call bullshit. Denise Watts, if I get this correct, Denise, I know y'all like to watch my show, but Denise Watts, I want to go back. Let me open the screen. Let's get the screen open. Oh, I'm clicking now, baby. Denise Watts. Isn't the superintendent's mentor, Peter Gorman, your former boss in Charlotte Mecklenburg school districts? Isn't Peter Gorman the same guy that developed a plan to close 11 black schools in Charlotte Mecklenburg? Weren't you there when a lot of this was going on? Is this same Peter Gorman the guy that comes to town and does personal development for at least 5 phases of HISD and makes no less than $25,000 per day? Denise, is that your old boss? All of y'all are tied together. Peter Gorman, let's go in here because I need to see me. Because I don't want to put him out there too bad. So I want to focus on Watts because I want to save Gorman. All right, I want to save Gorman. Let's go right here. I want to save Gorman, so I want to go back into Watts. Let's go over here. Let's go back. Denise Watts, I have a problem with you being on the HISD clock on a daily basis and doing your consulting business at the same time. Y'all watching this? In HISD, I just made a major claim. Miss Watts, you are not going to the schools as you should. You are not engaging the principals as you should. Can you tell me how many times that you've been to Jack A. Senior High School, ma'am, since you've been here? Miss Watts, you've been once. But you are required to go to those schools at least once a month. You're required to go. You are doing the Innovation Project, your side gig on our HISD clock. On top of that, you're also flying all over the country to do your side gig while you're on the HISD clock and still allowing HISD to pay you to do it. Is it true, Miss Watts, that you were here for a whole month? No, you got hired 1 month and didn't show up until the next, but HISD still paid you and you were not here? Miss Watts, you are double dipping at this point. Now, ain't no virtual. Ain't no virtual. Ain't no virtual. And she ain't the only one in the building doing it. It's several of them that have consulting firms, and you're bouncing all over the country to consult other school districts when yours is in disarray. But you have not gone into those schools like your contract says that you should. Your job description says that you should. You're not going in there and doing your job. Now, I need you to understand that a whole bunch of y'all getting this federal money. You're using Fed money to pay these salaries, bro. Well, I know everything I need to know. And I'm going to skin your ass on this one. I promise you that. So, Denise, and you're right, Fallon, conflict of interest. The superintendent's mentor is coming here to provide personal development. But let's go back to Denise real quick and says she has a track record of significantly improving the quality of education for school-aged children, those in traditionally underserved communities. Is that what that just said? Well, Miss Watts, you were over. Let's go here. I want to open up a screen. Hold on, baby, because I'm cooking tonight. I want to open up a screen. And you know what this says? Make sure you guys can see it. And here we go. It says the sobering failure of Project Lift. Miss Watts, you remember Project Lift? Oh, that's you right there. The sobering failure of Project Lift. You remember that? Because this is an article I got out of a magazine from Charlotte, North Carolina. I meant to tell you I had contracts in Michael Jordan's stadium. But that's you right there, isn't it not, Miss Watts? The sobering failure of Project Lift. Let's go down. I want that to resonate for just a second. Let me let you woo sign, little baby. Let Millard, is your woo sign right now, Negro? Is your woo sign? Because you busted. All y'all full of shit, man. Let's go up in here, Miss Watts. Let's go. Let me make sure they still can see it. Let's look at this. In retrospect, Project Lift and the Beacon Initiative, a pair of efforts aimed at improving outcomes in Charlotte's low-performing public schools, seem like the product of a more naive city, one still in the thralls to its own creation myth. That myth led corporate, nonprofit, and Charlotte-Mecklenburg school leaders to believe that the right combination of goodwill, enthusiasm, dollars, and civic pride could work miracles for children left behind. Let's keep reading, because I did get an HISD education. I think the children who are in these schools deserve a chance, and this is their chance. Denise Watts, chosen in 2011 as Project Lift superintendent, told this magazine's Adam Rowe more than 4 years ago. So why would we not take advantage of that opportunity? They tried, Watts in particular, and they failed. As the report over the weekend by the Observers and Helms makes clear, of the 23 schools that are part of Project Lift or Beacon, only one topped a 50% pass rate on the state exams last year. And that one, Project Lift's Stateville's Road Elementary, regressed slightly from the previous year. 4 of the schools rated an F, and Brunn slipped backwards to become the lowest scoring school in CMS. Bruns and Bayer School, both part of Project Lift, are among the state's lowest performers and on a list of 48 statewide being scrutinized for possible takeover by a charter operator. The number of CMF schools rated low performing on the state ratings released Thursday rose to 40, up from 25 the year before. That includes 13 schools that are part of Project Lift and Beacon. Wow. But you just said, I just read that you were an expert in dealing with kids at low-performing schools in poverty-stricken areas. You didn't think I would find this article? You didn't think I would find this article? Denise, do you really know what you're doing? Or are you a scam artist too? So everywhere y'all go, y'all tank the schools. But hold on. Millard, I know you sitting up there. You just like that little fat mother. I know you sitting up there calling me all kind of fat. But guess what? I ain't through, motherfucker. So when you go somewhere, Millard, they close schools. When Denise Watts goes somewhere, they close schools. I want to open up another screen. Hold on a second. Let's open up another screen. I want to open up this screen. That would be the claim screen. What you see there, my good people, is a picture right there on the screen. Ben Cessna, chief of police for Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools, tries to quiet a crowd before a school board forum earlier this month. Peter Gorman, you were the superintendent when this happened. You were also the superintendent that the NAACP had a full-fledged protest in front of your house. What happened in that meeting? Gorman was a superintendent who's now a consultant in HISD. Watts, you were there. What was this meeting about? Well, let's find out, y'all. Let's find out what this meeting was about. As national experts laud Charlotte-Mecklenburg school success with low-income Black students, some families are taken to the streets accusing officials of shortchanging those children. A proposal to close 8 urban schools where less than 10% of the total enrollment was white has state and local leaders accusing CMS of racism while crowds stand and cheer. School change is always tumultuous, but people are startled by recent arrests, protests, and static rhetoric in a city known for polite discourse and repentance about race. I don't know how widespread it is, but the people who are angry about it are extremely angry, said County Commissioner Jennifer Roberts, who attended a recent NAACP meeting where leaders urged about 200 people to fight school closings, going to jail if necessary. These people were willing to risk their freedom because of what they knew you were doing to their children. Hold on, let's keep going. Let's read a little bit more. Let's go back up in here. Tasha Houston, a housekeeper, says she never marched for anything until she showed up for a public forum about closing J.T. Williams Middle, where she has a child. Her sense that school officials are misleading African Americans and low-income families led her to the street. Mom got in the street for her baby. It's like a volcano is erupting, Houston said, and we have to deal with it. Hundreds of parents, including many from the suburbs, affluent town neighborhoods, have protested against recent changes in boundaries and magnet programs. But talks of closing takes anxiety to a new level. Superintendent Peter Gorman has suggested closing 8 of CSM's 176 schools, that's about 4,000 students, mostly Black and Hispanic and low income. The schools are tagged, he says, because they have empty classrooms or academic failings. And with budget cuts, he says it's better to sacrifice buildings than teachers. I'm crazy. The same thing y'all did in Charlotte, in Tulsa, is the same game plan y'all running here. In a house, you got the right mentor because he's telling you exactly what to do. You didn't fail for it. You came here to get whatever money you could get, and then you're going to be gone. And then we're going to be left with the carnage. We're going to be left with the carnage. So let's look at a little bit more from Peter Gorman. Let's go in here. Title: CMS Superintendent Gorman talks candidly about school closing. The CSM Board of Education meeting last night was once again disrupted by people protesting proposed school closings. Tonight, there's another public forum, this time about a new plan to close Harding High. Earlier today, Superintendent Peter Gorman sat down with reporters to talk about the process and the controversy. Julie Rose was there and joined Mark Rumsey in the studio to talk about it. Mark, so Julie, the district has been criticized for the way it's handled all of this. Did Superintendent Gorman express any regrets along the lines? Julie said not really. He pointed out that this whole process began in June with establishing guiding principles. There have been a lot of opportunities for the public to comment. Tonight will be the 14th public forum on this issue by his count. He says anger and outcry are to be expected when schools are changed. But I asked him if he had second thoughts, that maybe it's not worth to go through all this angst for what basically a savings of $6.5 million a year. Here's what he said: I believe this is a process we have needed to go through. I have wanted to go through it. No. Have I wanted to go through it? No. But have we needed to? Absolutely. I'm tasked with making recommendations for the entire district. As a whole district, we've got tough choices ahead with the challenges we face. Mark. The superintendent mentions challenges. Sounds like Millard House, y'all. That's the type of language he uses. All right. Let me make sure y'all still there. Hold on. There we go. All right, so let me get back over here. Gorman and the board have repeatedly said that money that they save by closing or consolidating is money they can use to preserve teachers' jobs. Now, savings of $6.5 million a year seems pretty small compared to the $90 million the district may have to cut next year. But here's what Gorman said: an average teacher's salary and benefits is $50,000. So when we get something that is $7 million or more, we're talking about 140 teaching positions. Potentially. That's a high school. That's shutting one more high school. That's equivalent of more than 3 elementaries. That's why every dollar counts, and we are now, because this is pretty dire. They worded that wrong. Gorman said when the district gets down to making those really tough major cuts next year, they'll look at transportation, class size, extracurricular activities, support services, programs, and district staff. Cutting teachers comes as a last resort. And that's when this extra $7 million in savings really matters. So what about the accusations that the school closing and consolidations being proposed unfairly punish minority and low-income students? the NAACP has been particularly vocal on that front. Julie, right. I think we've heard people ask, so many of the schools being affected are in the poor and urban parts of town. But Gorman basically says those are the areas where there's room for consolidation. The district has some newer renovated schools that they have space to absorb more kids. But Gorman also says even the suburban schools and those with high income levels are not off the hook. Tough budget times will be here, and for many years, this won't be the last time the district looks at consolidations or closings. So I could keep going, but I'm gonna stop right there. Y'all hold on just a second, and then I'm gonna lay it out for you. All right. So let's do this. Peter Gorman is one of House's mentors and advisors. Before I found this weekend, I knew your whole plan. And that is the reason that you're starving the black schools. Because you know if you don't give them the resources, they're not going to perform right. Denise Watts is not doing her job to support the principals at any level of education in our school district. She's purposely not doing it. She's doing a side gig, and you know she's doing it because you have side gigs consulting yourself, Mr. Superintendent. All of y'all have been a part of decimating black education, black and brown education across the country. And do y'all know what Mr. Gorman did once he closed those schools and went on about his business? Mr. Gorman left the school district and went found him another job. See, this is what they do. They come to our cities. They screw up our educational component. We're looking for somebody to help fix it. They bring in all these outsiders from Charlotte Mecklenburg, who's not performing well, who wasn't performing well. They bring in people from Chicago where the teachers take to the streets because they're not right with their teachers or their students. They bring in people from Baltimore, Maryland, where school districts are struggling. And they all come here like they're experts. Everybody has a nonprofit. Everybody has a 501c3. Everybody's making tons of money, and our kids are not learning anything. And then they say the best way to fix a school is to close it. Well, I need you to understand something. We figured out your plan. Now it's you versus me. Tell Max Mall spend that. Peter Gorman comes here to train our people. Well, first of all, if you don't know our schools and what we're going through, Mr. Gorman, there's no way that you can properly train anybody. If you don't know what we're dealing with, I mean, a poor kid in Charlotte is not the poor kid in Houston. Let's get that straight. That's two different environments. The poor kid in Baltimore is not the poor kid in Houston. The suburban affluent kid in Charlotte is not the suburban affluent kid in Houston. But y'all just running a playbook. And y'all making tons of money. And this is why you went after our principal. This is why you've gone after several principals. And this is why you're going to continue to go after principals. But I'm going to tell you this here. I'm going to tell you this here. And I'm going to say it Thursday night. How you leave this place is totally up to you. You're meeting with convicted felons. Y'all got all kind of shit going on, playing with their federal money. So how you leave this place is totally up to you. You can pack your stuff and you can go. Resign and you can go. Or you can hang around long enough until you end up in some handcuffs, you and your friends. I'm trying to honor this, April. I really want to curse. You can leave on your own. Take your family, the money that you've made, and whatever they would pay you to buy you out if it come to that. You're free to go. But if you want to stay, you're not going to leave. You're going to end up in some handcuffs. You and your big homie over there, Rick Cruz. And by the way, Mr. Cruz has an attitude, and he got his panties in a bunch because he didn't like the meme that I put up of him, where you think you're a god. Rick, let me tell you something. When you became a public figure, you gave up a level of your privacy. I said it nicely. But if you got a problem with my mean Rick, fuck you. It ain't shit you can do about it. I'll mean your ass to death. You nickel slick son of a bitch. You finna get some company, bro. When people come and see you, man. You can't fix what you've done. You can't fix it. Good reason, Houston, and all your friends, and you can't fix what you've done. Rick, why you didn't warn these people about me, Rick? You did them a disservice, Rick. Why you didn't tell these people that I'm the fucking truth? Why you didn't tell them, Rick, what happened to your last mentor? How I made him resign, Rick. But he took the warning and he resigned and got up out of here. That is the reason Terry Greer is free this day, till this day. House, get your stuff and go, homie. You're not gonna make it, bruh. But I preferably don't want you to do that. I really want you to think I'm playing. You ain't notice something? How I get all this information? How I knew where to look? I got your personal calendar, Negro. And I can get it again. You met with a convicted felon that defrauded the Department of Education. But you won't meet with some black parents that got some concerns. Another thing that you got in common. Oh, you thought I was through? Now let's go up in here. Let's share a screen. I'm going to the screen, y'all. Let's make sure you can see this. You can. So now I'm going to go in. Six-figure salaries grow at CMS, bonuses at risk. The growth in six-figure salaries that marked Superintendent Gorman's first 2 years with Charlotte-Mecklenburg appears to be leveling off as money tightens up. The growth in six-figure salaries, and that's the same sentence. CMS, with almost 19,800 employees, now has 103 making more than $100,000 a year. That's 12 more than last spring and 14 fewer than the city of Charlotte, which has 1/3 of the workforce. Wake County, a similarly sized school district, has 112 employees paid more than $100,000 annually. Gorman, with a base salary of $267,000, remains the best paid local government employee in the region, topping County Manager Harry Jones by more than $50,000. Wake Superintendent makes $273,000 a year, but does not receive Gorman's $35,000 in supplemental retirement payments or the chance to earn a 10% performance bonus. With hundreds of layoffs looming, Gorman said he'll forego his bonus in 2009 and 10 and eliminate them from his top staff. Local bonuses for principals and teachers are also on the block, but some want to see the folks at the top do more to share the pain, including the county commissioner, Vilma Lee. I can't see how we can justify those salaries when test scores are not going up. Let's stop right there. How many of your friends in that HISD building making over 6 figures, man? Same playbook, y'all. Our kids ain't learning nothing. But y'all try to justify these salaries that you're giving all these people. Let's go in here because it's a sentence that I read that I liked. Gorman said slashing pay or jobs in upper management could make it harder for CMS to navigate tough times. Same thing in HISD, top heavy. They run the same. How many times you've heard me say it, Janelle? They run the same playbook all around the country. All around the country. And our kids are the scapegoats of it. Our children. Peter Gorman is a scam artist that's making no less than $25,000 a day when he comes to town to consult. Denise Watts is getting free money because she's not going to the schools and doing her job. And she's never done it since she's gotten here. And the house ain't going to make her do it. You know why? Ain't say nothing. All of y'all scam artists, bro. The Board of Trustees needs to go into closed session and do what they have to do. And that's what it is. And that's what it is. Hold on a second, man. So, all of y'all are scam artists that come from all around the country. Like you can reform these kids and you can fix these schools. But the newspaper articles say different. The NAACP in front of your house protesting because you're not educating Black and brown children. The sad part is, and my trustees, Black, white, whatever, when are y'all going to make a decision? When are y'all going to make a decision? Because enough is truly enough. I just wanted to put that out there, that I know who all the players are. Now I'm going to go silent for a couple of days, unless I feel like coming back. But I need all my strength for you demons Thursday night. Get on the phone with your friends, with your aunties, your uncles, your moms, your dad, because I know kids are watching. We need everybody in the boardroom. enough is enough. Why in the hell would they go bring this dude in here? Knowing his history, I'm going to tell you exactly why, and then I'm going to let you go. Because what's happening to us is exactly what y'all wanted to happen to us. But I can promise you this. This ain't Charlotte, North Carolina. And you ain't closing nothing, motherfucker. And I said that. It's the war zone. And I'm the 5-star general.